This is our second show on Moneylogy here with you and Starfish Academy, me and Vala Arma here. So, hi Vala.
Hi, everybody.
Greetings to everyone. This show is for you, for those of you who are interested in the topics of finances, of financial independence, and entrepreneurship and investing. So we start this show just to help you to get some insights from our own experience, which could help you to achieve financial freedom in the future. So if these topics are interesting to you, just sit here and listen to us. And today we have a second show, and the topic we would like to discuss is financial freedom, actually the goal for which probably everyone wants to invest and create business, but probably everyone understands it a bit from different angles. So we will try to discuss it with Paulo, how we understand the financial freedom, what does it mean for us, and why we think that it's important for probably everyone in the world. So Paulo, what financial freedom does it mean for you?
Yeah, I remember first time when I heard about the concept that you don't have to work for the money, you can put the money work for you. I was very excited. It was like a dream that I wanted to achieve, and I remember when I was still having a day job, and imagining that one day it will happen, and actually it just took a lot of change in my mindset. It was an interesting path. It took me like 3.5 years to get there, and I realized that if we're selling time for money, it's like never-ending activities. So at one point we should start to create an asset which starts to work for you, and as we accumulate these assets over the time, then eventually this can cover your living expenses, which makes us free to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we could say basically that financial freedom is in a way the first step to freedom at all in the life of a person, because it allows us to get back some resources, as for example time, and use it for other much more significant areas in life than just earning money.
Exactly, and I would even say that as it is a journey and it will take some time to make these adjustments in life, then I noticed also that there's a lot of people actually who are struggling with financial security. So I would say that those maybe who have some hard times with finances today, the first focus should be actually not even financial freedom, but financial security. And once they get that, then they can start learning and implementing these ideas of accumulating assets that would start to work for them. So it's really a process. My personal experience was that I was really focused and determined to understand it and to learn it and implement it. And it still took a lot of time. So if somebody is kind of expecting it will happen, in 6 months or 1 year, then it's very rare that it takes so fast. So usually it's like a 3 or 5 year process, and it's a journey. So how about you?
At the same time, it's achievable. Yes, we know it is achievable because you reached it in let's say like less than 10 years. For me, it took around the 10 years to reach this financial independence, I would say, the first level.
Yes.
Because probably when we talk about financial freedom, we can discuss it in different levels. The first level is, like you said, when you achieve passive income the same as your expenses are a bit higher. Then the next level, it can be, let's say, when you have a passive income double when your expenses or 10 times more than your expenses, and this is already this financial freedom. So like I see, it's the big difference between financial independence and financial freedom. So the first level towards financial freedom is financial independence, and then you reach this goal, then you can go further towards financial freedom, which is basically the same process, just already after achieving the first level.
Yeah, so the freedom is kind of the end goal, and even I would kind of split the way that in the beginning you need some security, then you maybe need some comfort, in your life, and then you start to move towards independence and financially you get financial freedom at the end. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long time it takes, because it will change the quality of your life. And if this is something that somebody is determined about, then it's doable. It just needs some, shift in your mindset, and you need some support group together to do it with. So,
what I basically experienced from my own journey towards financial independence, that as soon as you start getting at least certain level of passive income covering your expenses, it brings much more confidence to your life. Because you are more confident about your future. You are not depending only on your single income, which can be maybe just a work income, or even maybe income from your own business, but only one stream of income, which still depends on you. So if you don't work, you feel uncomfortable because usually this income goes down or disappears at all. So as soon as you get at least, let's say, 10%, 20%, 30% of expenses covered by passive income, it's already quite a huge change in your life, and the feelings and emotions also, because you are not stressed so much anymore because of losing your job, and at the same time the confidence of possibility in the future and being more wealthy, more happy in the future is also much higher.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the current economic times show us that there's nothing secure when you have a salary and day job, because you don't control it. And if things change and times change, and you do not have any assets that bring you some additional income, then it could totally shift on you and put you in a difficult situation. So I agree with you.
If you try to recommend some first steps to our listeners and watchers, what could be these first steps from your opinion, where we should start going towards financial freedom?
Well, I can share, kind of my steps. It doesn't mean that it's exactly that everybody should take the same, but for me, it really started with changing of the mindset, and this is something I've seen over the years, is that the mindset I had in the past was almost 180 degrees opposite to what really worked. So for me, it started really reading a couple of great books. I started with Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki, The Cash Flow Quadrant, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So these books were like fundamentals of shifting the mindset and understanding that there's another way how to do it. And then the question is really to basically just put it to work and start implementing in small steps. And I think also the cash flow game was a great tool to start, because it kind of showed the real life in a game environment. And once you start to see the patterns in the game, it actually shows you the patterns also in real life, and that's how I got started. But again, it starts with a mindset. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny to hear, because my journey started the same way, basically from learning.
Yes.
Yeah? So basically, when you start learning and digging deeper to financial freedom and financial intelligence topic, you will come up with answers how to start your own step, how to start your own plan implementing. So basically learning this topic is probably the very first step, and this is basically what we do in Starfish Academy also. So for those who watch us, basically if you are interested in these topics, you can follow us on Facebook, also on YouTube, and this is the place where we will be providing more and more information for you regarding these topics also as well.
Yeah, and like you said, it starts with the learning, but it doesn't end with the learning. It's really, as you start to learn, quite soon you also have to apply it. And there's a lot of people who think they know how it should be done, but they never try it or never apply it. So definitely learning is the first step, but applying comes pretty fast as well.
That's great. And basically, connecting with this topic, we also have a Starfish vocabulary part where we will provide you with some terms related to financial area, business or investing. And today's topic is really very close to financial freedom, because it is cash flow. So what does it mean, cash flow in financial terms? Basically speaking, it's just the difference between income and expenses. So if you're gonna play the cash flow game, you will also see a cash flow term written on the cards, which means the money coming in your pocket after all expenses are paid from your investments. So it can be either real estate, either business, or some other assets. And actually it can be positive and negative, like your money which you earn from job also can be lower than your expenses. In this case, your cash flow is negative. And if you have some money left after you pay off your expenses, this means that your cash flow is positive. So from the side, is it positive or negative, you can decide do you have a really asset or you have another thing which is called liability, and we will talk about these terms also in the future in more details. And by the way, I see also that we have a first comment in our show, and it comes from Viva. And Viva asks us, could we basically, this is her comment, can we list down the books mentioned? She didn't have time to write it down. Yeah, Viva, definitely. We can write it in the comments below, so you can find it. And these are the books which we recommend always to start with.
Sure.
Yeah, and I see one more comment coming from Victoria. What do you do if the cash flow is negative? Okay, so Vala, what would be your thoughts about it?
I would say that the first step really is to know where you are. So as you ask this question, you probably know that your cash flow is negative. Now the question is, why is it negative? Is it like too high expenses? Are there too high liabilities or some bad debts which create this situation? So it really starts with kind of auditing your personal financial statement and trying to figure out where it's coming from. And of course, there are always ways to lower expenses, or there are ways to increase the revenues. So I would probably have to look at the real numbers to understand where it comes from. But the solution is always, if there is a way to increase revenues, or if there's some ways to get rid of some bad debt. And quite often, for a lot of people, the bad debt is the reason why the cash flow is negative, is that they have some liabilities which take money from their pocket, and that's why it doesn't, there's more month at the, it's more month at the end of the month, right? So the money runs out before the month ends. So.
But the good thing is probably that cash flow is the thing which you always can control. So you always can take at least two approaches, either to try to raise your income or to find the ways to lower the expenses. And it doesn't matter, is it your personal finance, is it the business and the cash flow from business, is it also cash flow coming from a real estate investing? Always you can have at least two options to make it. It's not the same like when you're trying to sell something for the higher price, because you can't control the price for which you can sell and the profit which you can earn, but you always can control at least the expenses. So my suggestion would be also to look first to the expenses and your income, and balancing these two things can help you to get the cash flow at least to zero and later on positive.
Yeah, I think it's probably both things you should pay attention to, because also lowering expenses, there is a certain limit where it becomes unreasonable to go lower. But if there are some really bad expenses, then first step is to get rid of them and become profitable first, and then figure out how to start increasing your revenues.
And we come now also to the other topic, which is quite often also in people's mind, that living below your means. So is it living below your means or living on your means? And these are the topics which we will also be discussing in the further shows later. But this is also quite a big difference to understand and control this part.
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody have other questions, you can feel free also to write it down in the comments, like Viva and Victoria did, and we will be more than happy to comment on it. And in each show, we will have a Q&A part in the end of the show where you can send the questions which are important to you. And it's always, there are several benefits which you can get from asking questions. First of all, you will get answer. You will help other people to hear your answer, because maybe they were afraid to ask a question or just didn't thought about it. And if you are active one in our further shows, we will also will come up with some prizes for those who are active participants in the show, not just watchers of the show. So just be active, watch our next shows in the future, and we hope that it will be valuable for you and will help you to start your journey towards financial freedom, or if you already do so, then you can get some other additional insights how to make it more efficient.
So, Juris, maybe some additional thoughts about cash flow, because quite often people are asking, okay, what are the ways to create cash flow? What are the key possibilities? So, if you look at the kind of bigger picture, you can have cash flow from the business. So it means that you have to be a business owner or entrepreneur, be profitable, and then at the end of each year, you can put some money aside. You can have real estate investment where you can have monthly cash flow, or you can have basically like dividend stocks or paper assets which bring you regular cash flow. So there are different ways how you can do that. It really depends on where your passion is and understanding which asset class you like. And I think this is also one of the kind of key things, at least it was for me in the beginning, is to understand which asset class do I even like, and where where I want to get the cash flow. So if it's business for you, it's great. If it's paper asset, it's great. There's no right or wrong answer. But if you understand there are different ways how you can get cash flow, then next question is, okay, where is your passion? Right?
Yeah, so what you're saying is basically, first of all, you need to expand your awareness about the different possibilities and feel this emotional also connectivity with one or another. This means that this is the one from which you need to start on. And then you can go deeper, digging the stuff about the strategies and all the how part and everything.
Exactly.
So if our audience are interested in these topics, my recommendation is to follow us, and you will be the first always to get notified about our upcoming shows in the future. And we will be discussing all these questions which was mentioned and touched by us in this show also. And if you have any questions which you would like us to discuss in the next show, feel free also to comment it under the current show below in the comments. And it will be really helpful for us, because then we will know what topics are important for you and we can give you much more value.
And there's, I think, what makes this show different from maybe some other ones is that we don't talk theory. We talk everything that we have done. So this is something that we live, day on. And that's why we're happy to share it, because I think there's a lot of other people who could be in the same situation where the money is working for you. And if there's anybody we can help with that information, then that's why we do it. So.
Yes, totally true. Yeah, we had several more questions. So first of all, Orion was asking, what is your recommendation how to reduce a personal debt?
Well, it starts with again the vocabulary. What is it debt about? Is it a good debt or is it a bad debt? So just quick definition is that bad debt is something that you have to pay, and good debt is something that you pay. So getting out of debt is not even a question. It's more like getting out of bad debt, and then the question is, okay, what is it? What this debt is about, and do you really need it? So usually it's a home loan, or it's some consumption loan, or it's a car leasing or something like that, and it could indicate that you're living above your means, that your current cash flow or your current revenues say that this loan or this debt is too high for you right now. So I think getting rid of the bad debt is probably one of the first steps, and it doesn't maybe happen immediately, but at least you can start to make a plan and start to get eventually out of the bad debt and acquiring more good debt.
From my side, I would just add that if you see that there are some debts which you want to get rid of, there are at least several things to think about. First of all, is it possible to convert this bad debt to good debt? Because maybe you can rent it out, the thing which has been bought using this debt, and it will turn to active asset which will be giving you additional income. The other thing is, if it's not possible, then there are different approaches how to get rid of debt faster. One of the strategies which I would recommend is called snowball or avalanche strategy. When you just use the money you pay for the previous debt, adding to the next debt, and each debt will be reduced faster. So you can find it online, just Google it, debt avalanche strategy, and probably this is one of the best strategies which we could recommend for you. One more question comes from Viva. Well, quite a lot of ones, so we need to read it. For the questions is related to my company. Currently, due to COVID, there is no cash flow. So the question is, should I spend even more money on branching out, creating new products or ads and marketing? Or shall I reduce expenses to minimum and look for new projects with minimum expenses? Really good question, connecting to the current economical situation, by the way.
Yeah, it would be great if you could add what industry you're in, because I think the main question is that how is your current business aligned with kind of the new reality where we are heading right now. But I think it kind of maybe solution for every business right now is really seriously to look at their current expenses, look at their current business model, how does it work in an online environment. What if we have to go back to a situation where you cannot meet in live? How does your business live through this? Is it COVID proof or it's not? And if it's not, then okay, what are the steps we could make it like COVID proof? I think this is one of the things that we also have done in our businesses, is to try to understand how the new reality looks like. Definitely look seriously our expenses. Is there everything that we should have, or there are some like comfortable expenses we should get rid of? So I think it's the time really to look through the expenses, but at the same time not take it away from the sales and marketing. Because when everybody is kind of putting the brakes on the marketing and PR, then I think this is exactly the opposite time. When you actually put some extra expenditures on the PR and marketing, then it could be a perfect time for you to get the market share. So it really depends on the product what you have.
Yeah, exactly. I've commented additionally that it's consultancy and project management. So I would add what Vavo already said, just a few things, that each crisis is always a danger or opportunity for somebody. So like Vavo already shared, during a COVID quarantine, we also faced some challenges, and it's always the option just to stay with the current situation and wait while it will be over. And then probably you will be experiencing reduced cash flows and all these things, or try to invent something which would allow you even to use the current possibilities and current situation. And this is what we did basically. We were facing also the challenge to transfer some of our live trainings, which we were doing just live, to online environment. And the most challenging part was basically how to transfer the practical part, which we do live with cash flow game, which was mentioned in this show also, because it's table game and it's totally different experience when you play just cash flow online version as a computer software game, and when you play the table game. So we were thinking how to do it, and we basically brainstormed the solution, which helped us to put it to a totally different level, and even our services was grow to totally different level only because of this solution. So I would suggest to think how you can transfer your current services to online or some other means with using technology. And regarding the marketing, definitely, I mean, this is not the point where you need to reduce your expenses, because this is what usually all the businesses do. And those who are not reducing the expenses during the crisis are always on the winning side, because they are more visible, because if everybody is reducing, the advertising costs becomes lower. If you check the stats, during a quarantine, basically the price of the Facebook ads was dropping quite significantly down, because there were just much more companies advertising on Facebook.
Yeah, I would just add also that I think it's a time for the fast adapters, because definitely the environment has changed, and now it would be actually a red alert if you have not changed anything in the last 6 months, because the environment has changed so much, except if you're in a digital or online business already. And I also had a kind of some personal story from yesterday. We had an inner circle meeting, and it was a great example that energy never disappears. Energy just transfers from one business to another. So we had somebody who was closing his business, and there was somebody who's working on liquidating closing businesses, which means that he makes sure that all the debtors get paid and the business is closed in a proper way. So his business is booming right now. Well, everybody's other business is going down. So it's always, the energy is always moving from one place to another, and it's never disappeared. So now make sure that your industry or your business is not on the side which is going down, and maybe thinking, okay, how can I take advantage of this change in the world?
Yeah. So it's true. So basically, again, it's just using and spotting the opportunity and using this opportunity for your benefits, for your business growth, and for your maybe even new products to create.
Yeah.
Okay, so our show is coming to the end, and basically I would like to congratulate Vaiva for really good questions and being active on our show. And she is the first participant of our English-speaking show who wins the prize, and we would like to give you such a gift. Because I know that Vaiva is from Lithuania, so we can send this gift to you. And this battle will be a gift from Starfish Academy to remember us, and be your personal battle for keeping your body watered, which is also really important, because Starfish Academy is not only about being financially free, but also living a harmonious life. So we need not to forget other areas of life. And like we said, financial freedom is the first step to freedom, because it allows you to take care and spend more time and more energy on other areas, which are much more important than money. So thank you. This was our second show, Starfish Academy and Moneylogy, me and Valo Arome. Thank you, Valo, for your time also being there. And
thanks for all the participants.
Yeah, all participants for their questions and activity. And let's meet the next Tuesday, same time, where you can ask us other questions. Just stay tuned about the next Facebook Live show scheduled, and put the reminder to be on time and watch it live. Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.